Be no advice, maybe with one exception for you. A quote from Roy Croft. I love you for putting your hand into my heart and passing over all the foolish, weak things that you cannot help dimly seeing there, and for drawing out into the light all the beautiful belongings that no one else had looked quite so far enough to find. That struck me as very appropriate in this case. I guess my bottom line message to the two of you would be that to have a successful marriage requires intention of the highest order. And after hearing details of how these two wonderful young people came together, I believe the heavens opened and that God used a hand to hold each of you and gently move you to this place. God doesn't make bad moves. Today's world is characterized by complexity, and the marital relationship may be the most complex of all systems. There are endless challenges, competing alternatives. We all know appearances are deceiving. The distinctions are often very subtle and difficult to detect. The space between success and failure, right and wrong, is very small. All of us search for answers on how to best navigate this journey. So what does intention of the highest order require? Well, first, nothing will ever be more important than your personal relationship. Nothing will impact your life more than having a relationship based on unconditional love, respect, and honor. Unconditional love, what does that mean? If you look it up in the dictionary, you find the words absolute and without exception. When you look up honor, you find high esteem, honesty, fairness, integrity. In other words, doing what you said you would do. And respect. I love this one. Esteem for or a sense of the worth or excellence of a person. So let those three words, unconditional love, actually four, unconditional love, respect, and honor, be the true north in your relationship. An ongoing expression of your intention at the highest level. Then there are three practices, I think, that will reinforce those highest intentions, and they'll help you deal with the ambiguities of your life together. My wife gave me some admonition about not making this sound like a business plan. So I'll resist that as much as I can. But I do think you have to have a plan. And I think you have to also discover ways to make good decisions, and then also enjoy things as you go along. So let's talk about creating a good plan. Now, why would that be important? Because all of us know when we go through a planning process, we have to sit down and do what? We have to communicate. We have to talk to one another. And as life gets busier, you won't be surprised to find that that becomes more and more challenging, at least to do it in something other than a superficial way. So planning, if you're talking about your family dreams and your vision, and establishing a mission for you and your own family, setting goals, that's a wonderful opportunity to sit down and visit and have those meaningful conversations that forge communication and help forge the bond that keeps you strong. Second, choose your friends and associates with great care. Look at this wonderful collection of friends and family. Look at this great collection of support you have behind you. Let that serve as a filter for future selections. Those who challenge you, who make you better, those who perhaps even ask more of you than you might be willing to ask of yourselves. Nurture and support them as you bring them into your life and keep them in your life. And then I always like to talk about making great decisions. To a great extent, our life is determined by the decisions we make. And for me, I found it helpful to have filters about how we go about that. Here are three that I think you might find helpful. First of all, is it enjoyable? Are we going to have fun doing this or not? And you know what? If you don't, that might be a good indicator you should say no. Or perhaps politely, no thanks. Can we make this simple? You know, how many of us have webs of entanglements, so much complexity in our life, it becomes difficult to decipher all the options and make the right choices? You have to go through complexity to get to simple. Sometimes we don't get there directly. But that's another good filter. If it can't be simple, then it may be something that you may not want to do. And then P, ESP, enjoy, simple, and the plan. Is it consistent with our plan? So I think those are good tools to use moving forward, and I'll close with just a couple of thoughts. Be a keen observer of people and the outcomes you want in your life. Success leaves clues. I would ask you to observe your parents. 75 years of total marriage. There are clues in that success. And that's something that you can aspire to, something you can look to for guidance, for leadership, as you observe people and their behaviors. So in summary, a successful marriage or any relationship requires intention of the highest order. 3 words: unconditional love, respect, and honor. 3 practices: a plan, choosing people carefully, and using ESP to make great decisions. Those here look forward to watching you follow your chosen path and having a life filled with happiness as you choose to define it, and a sense of mission and achievement. Maybe even many healthy babies. So Jace, I almost forgot one advice. Now look, you just have to sit her down and tell her who's the boss. So when you sit her down, you look at her in the eye and you say, okay, Darcy, you're the boss. William Congreve wrote a line in Morning Bride back in 1697. We've all heard it. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, especially one with 3 sisters. So I thank you again for allowing me to assume this role and share this time with you. I wish you Godspeed. Thank you. So now it's time for your vows. Are you ready?